welcome to Kate's Kitchen. I'm Kate. We have behind the camera the handy-dandy cameraman Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hi, sweetheart.
This is the second in a series of videos on dehydrating food for long-time storage at home. Today I'm going to tell you how I dehydrate eggs. Dehydrated eggs have not gotten the okay from the Food and Drug Administration or any of the other government agencies. So this is not telling you how to do it, this is telling you how I do it. And the reason I decided to include it in the group is because I've had a number of friends and some viewers who have asked me to please show them how I dehydrate eggs. So that's what we're going to do. First, I have to stress cleanliness and safety. Anytime you work with raw eggs, you have a chance of coming in contact with salmonella and all kinds of other bad things. So, my blender has been cleaned, my bowls have been cleaned and sanitized, my fruit roll-up trays are clean and ready to go, my hands are washed. So we are now ready to start, and the way it will happen is we will break 1 dozen eggs into the blender. When we get a dozen in there, we'll turn it on and blend it up. When it's real frothy and full of lots of air, we'll pour it onto our fruit roll-up trays, and then we'll put it into the dehydrator, where it will dehydrate for, I'm going to say, probably it'll be 7 to 10 hours. If you want to start with 5 hours, you go back and check it every couple of hours afterwards until it's completely dry. So, let's start.
At what temperature are you going to dehydrate
this?
this?
I'm sorry. Dehydrated at 145 degrees Fahrenheit.
Thanks.
So, let's go ahead and break some eggs. Now, the reason I have 2 trays, 2 bowls, is because you never know when you get eggs whether they're going to be good or not. So I always break my eggs into 1 cup and pour it wherever I'm going and keep the shells in another. And that's egg number 1, and it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and get a dozen of them broken up and ready to go, and I'll bring you back. 12 eggs. Next thing we do is put our lid on our nice little blender here. Doesn't really take very long. Now, before we go to the next stage, I save my eggshells. And the reason I save them is because they're very good in the garden. I'll put them in the sink and I'll wash them all real good to get rid of any of the leftover egg that was in it. Then I'll put it on a very low oven of around 150 to 200 and dry them. After they're dried, you pulverize them and store them. Then next spring, when you get ready to plant your tomatoes and other nightshades, you put a tablespoon or so of the ground up eggshells in the hole with the plant. This gives the plant the calcium that it needs, and it allows you to have a much sweeter, better tasting fruit. So that's why we're saving these eggshells. Now our next step is, we've got it blended up. It's all frothy and lots of air in it. So we take our fruit roll-up tray, pour some in it like that, and then you wiggle it around to try and get it spread out pretty evenly on the tray. And it looks like a dozen eggs is going to make right at 4 fruit rolled-up trays full of eggs to dry. Now, I think the reason that most of my friends have asked me about this, and viewers too, is because right now their chickens are going crazy and giving them lots and lots of eggs. There's only so many eggs a family can eat in a week. Alright, now we're going to take each of these trays in and put them on the trays in the dehydrator.
Yeah, it's pretty delicate work, isn't it?
Pardon?
So that's pretty delicate work.
Yeah, it's very easy to spill it because it's so liquid. I'm going to go get another one.
Okay. Nicely done. I doubt I could do that, Kate. I'd make a mess. I'm sure I would.
I did the first few times I did it too. I spilled egg everywhere. When we get the rest of the trays in and everything's loaded, I'll put the lid on like this. I'll turn on the timer. I'll set it for 145 degrees. And then I will just set it to start at 5 hours, and I'll come back and check it at the end of 5 hours and decide how much longer I want to try it. Usually I'll put it in for another 2 and another 2 and keep checking it until it's dry. So
You can tell by the appearance if it's dry?
you can tell by the appearance. It's the way I think of it is the egg, when it's dry, cracks. Like soil cracks when it hasn't had rain for a long time. It gets those big cracks and it looks very dry. That's the way the egg looks too, only it's not real deep, obviously.
Okay.
So we'll bring you back when they're all loaded, let you see it one last time, and then we'll start it drying. There we go. 2 dozen eggs makes 8 trays full. Now let's put our handy dandy cover on. Turn on the power. Temperature is now on 145. I'm going to set it for 5 hours. And I'll be back in 5 hours to check it. And I'll bring you guys back when everything is dry before I take them out. In 4 hours, I'm checking on the eggs. It's beginning to work. As you can see, it's cracking in various places and starting to dry. You get another one to be sure to get some overall ideas here. This one still has a lot of wet right along here. Some little bit of liquid along the edges, but it's also drying. See how it crumbles when it gets dry? That's what you're looking for. It's been a little over 6 hours, and I've checked it every 2 hours. It is now very dry. If you look very closely at the eggs, you will see that it's got a cracked look to it. You've got some darker places and some lighter. That's just the way it does, but this is how you know it's dry. I'm just barely touching it, and as you can see, it's breaking up very, very easily. It just comes right off. And what I do is crunch it between my fingers a little bit to make it a little bit looser, a little bit smaller pieces. Now, there are some pieces, some little spots like right in here where it's still not quite dry. So I'll put that back in and let it go a little bit longer. But the majority of this is dry and ready to be put away. Use this once you get it dehydrated, and you need to use some eggs, and you go and you pull your jar out. It takes 1 tablespoon of the powdered eggs and 1 tablespoon of water to dehydrate into the equivalent of 1 egg. This is approximately the equivalent of 3 eggs right here. So it takes a whole lot less room to store it. It's very easy to rehydrate. It tastes, when it's being used in cooking, just a tablespoon of water and a tablespoon of eggs, and you're done. So that's how I do dehydrated eggs for my kitchen. We love them. I've used them for years. They always work out very well. Now, next time come back, and I hope to see you then. Take care. God bless. Bye.